Video 13. October 26, 2010. Mythi. We have news that Nibiru is approaching the South Pole and is being covered up by government. Could you explain in more detail what the red Nibiru is and what is it bringing in relation to influences in the solar system? I would like to know as much as possible about it. Some friends think that you'd rather not tell us many details about the actual event. Well, let's be much more specific. I cannot be apocalyptic. I'm not an envoy to tell exactly how everything will happen because we do not know entirely. There are many variables in this equation. What we can do is be prepared for the possibilities. What you are asking about is a little solar system that belongs to your solar system. It had 7 planets but lost one in its last closer passage, approximate 3,600 years ago. It collided with one of the great moons of Jupiter. And the two disintegrated. Today, only the pieces are orbiting the Sun, between Mars and Jupiter. Nibiru will pass through this belt of waste, and as its solar system of planets will spread this waste further apart in every direction. It may lose 1 or 2 of its smaller planets as a result of these shocks. It is like the Sun once was 5 billion years ago, a little dwarf star in the cooling process. It does not emit the light spectrum needed for photosynthesis in plant life, it only emits heat. One of its planets was used as a colony many thousands of years ago. Today, because of the gradual cooling of the Sun, it no longer maintains any colony on its planets because they have become extremely cold. On the largest planet, there is a base station in the older former colony, which appears to no longer be in use for a long time. To our knowledge, no one connected to the Community Galactica is currently living on those planets. If any community is based there, it does not maintain any contact with us, and we consider it uninhabited. When this Sun comes by, between 2011 and 2013, it will cause many instabilities, as I already said. October of 2011 will be one of these cross points. These effects will be added to the instability of the Sun, and the reversal of Earth's magnetic field. These effects, if they come one at a time, could not bring big disaster, but all will be happening simultaneously this time. For this reason, communities are coming here to observe or participate in assistance during these events. Next year, your government can no longer hide the fact, because all of you may see the elusive member of your solar system crossing from southern to northern. See, the Earth will pass very, very close to it 2 times. The tectonic plates will undergo a large movement, causing disasters in a series on all continents. Your moon will suffer a tremendous influence from the gravity of it between 2011/2013, but we are estimating that it will not be enough to unstick your moon from its orbit, with a bit of luck. The Earth needs its big moon to maintain the natural balance. We will do everything to maintain its orbit as stable as possible. A very large ship coming from the Canis Majoris solar system came into your solar system recently and was detected by your infrared telescopes near the Sun. It is approximate 30 times the size of your planet. It will park the same distance from the Sun as the orbit of Jupiter. This huge craft can help offset effects of gravity on the system, depending on its specific location during the passages of Nibiru near the Earth. There is a good stabilization plan in progress. I know you want to ask why this huge ship did not deviate Nibiru from the route so it does not pass through the solar system. But I'll answer that. We cannot influence the balance of the system this way, we can only minimize consequences. If Nibiru is diverted, no one knows the greatest consequences this may cause, possibly future collision with other systems or other chain reactions in the galaxy. And reiterating, do not forget your governments, which are unknown to us in terms of belligerent intentions. Watch your Middle East events. Mythi, who is actually paying this bill? The large spacecrafts. This whole procedure, your ships and crews, should not be working for free. Anyone and everyone, it is a kind of joint effort. The Community Galactica has unlimited resources to meet expectations for growth of intelligent beings in the region of the universe where it has the capacity to act, as is.
Only in theory.
Should be your
United Nations.
When resources are needed for infrastructural purposes, governments have the credits in accordance with the participation of their communities in the general context. There are different scales for any measure the weight of the shares. With respect to the population, each individual gets what he needs for his personal and professional fulfillment. This is set by the individual. We do not receive payments as you here on earth because all we need we can get. And we do not want what we do not need to be well. In the aspect of support for new colonies, we all do what we can do, without thought of payment. We take great pride in being able to observe and assist the development of equals. This, to us, is priceless. What would be the reason for development and technology if it were not to help in developing a community as a whole? Every intelligent being must have the opportunity to complete integration in the universal context, within its capacity. Mike asks, for many years there have been numerous stories coming out of Asia about sightings of off-world craft operating out of underground bases in the Himalayan mountains in the region of the Tibetan Plateau. It is said that both the Chinese, who control Tibet, and the Indian authorities are aware of this and collude to keep strangers away from the areas concerned. However, local residents, who are admittedly few and far between, have commented on the activities of mysterious aerial craft. Who are these visitors, if indeed that is what they are, and are they in contact with the Tibetan lamas or Buddhist religious leaders who are supposedly spiritually advanced and possibly, even, descendants of an ancient Earth race? Mike, as I mentioned earlier, there were several underground bases and some on the surface in the valleys between high and inaccessible mountains built in ancient times and are still used today. The Himalayas, being a great chain of mountains, was the perfect place for these operation bases in the east. Some ethnicities like Chinese, Tibetans, and other Asian peoples, have their roots in alien races that are constantly watching these colonies to the present day. That means they are not really descendants, but antecedents. The monasteries and isolated villages are more constant contact sites because, like I'm doing here with you, contact is made without interference from
authorities
of governments. An existing base in Tibet has been visited by locals, and because these environments have pleasant temperatures controlled artificially, this gave rise to many local legends, and these natives call them
Shambala.
Places to have local contacts with philosophers from beyond. The beings of
Shambala
assisted in the construction of temples and monuments. There are monasteries in the mountains that even today with your modern engineering would be virtually impossible to build. These extraterrestrial races which descended Asians, even today, are more mystical than other races in the universe. Tell friend Mike that a big Pleiadians spaceship left yesterday from the Antarctic base and is stationary north of a place called the Isle of Man in the North Atlantic, and its secondary crafts are neutralizing the missiles of all military bases in his region. He may have news about it in the next days by the media. Mythi, I have a curiosity, how long do you live? Our life expectancy is very high. Our biological science is very advanced, this causes us to live as long as we feel useful. In Earth years, I am 120, but I'm young. The expectation is around 350 years by your measure of time. So, our colonies grow very slowly in terms of people, because we live too long. That is why new colonies like yours are seeded to have a more significant increase of intelligent beings populating the universe, and why you are so important in this context. We're not afraid of physical death because it's just a stage for incarnations in more developed communities. When we feel old in spirit, we place ourselves at the disposal of universal force, and after a period of self-reflection, we leave our bodies and fade from life. This is a mystical stage we go through from the physical form to the spiritual, so natural and happy for the mission accomplished. Unless there is an accident or cataclysm, our death is very peaceful and surrounded by joy of a long and prosperous life. The crews of ships like ours are considered adventurers who have much more chances of dying in accidents by helping other communities, so we are very well regarded in our society. Mike asks, what your planet is like? Mike, my main planet is a very comfortable place. We have many villages across the planet, but not very many large cities. There are roads only in areas where industrial automatic equipment circulate. Roads do not exist on the rest of the planet because they are not necessary. Our vehicles are all floating. We have abundant energy and a well-integrated infrastructure. Plants, flowers, and vegetables abound throughout the world, and we have large farms of fruits from various parts of the galaxy. We have plenty of water also in the form of natural and artificial seas that are home to various qualities of fish that are processed in the form of protein with which we supplement our diet, which is basically fruit and vegetables. Mike asks, is there fauna on your planet? You also have pets? Mike, the main planet and in the 3 colonies, we have many fish, birds, and many different types of small lizards. We have many insects such as butterflies that pollinate flowers. We are trying to acclimate a breed of bee that is in the South American forests, that does not sting. You know it as the
indigenous bee.
We have similar species of marine mammals like your dolphins, which maintains the biological balance of our oceans. We have various kinds of shellfish, corals, and shells, as well as hundreds of species of tropical fish. About pets, we do not have this custom. The animals living in nature, especially birds, often become accustomed to living among our homes. Marine aquariums are a hobby for some.